Hello friends, welcome to Wawa AS. Welcome to the discussion on daily MCQ. Today is 6th of July 2021 और अब हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं आज के 5 करंट अफेयर बेस्ड MCQs. Now let's begin. First let us discuss the question that was asked yesterday. कल का क्वेश्चन था Global Economic Prospects Report is released by which international organization? And some of you have given the correct answer for this question. Yesterday it was Divya Vasisht, Rajendra Kamlesh and Subham Basak who gave the correct answer. So if you see the Global Economic Prospects Report, this is released by World Bank. This is released by World Bank. And this Global Economic Prospects Report is a flagship report of the World Bank, which examines the global economic development, and the prospects related to the economy and the prospects also. So in this way, the Global Economic Prospects Report is a very important report, and this is released twice a year. It is issued twice a year in January and June. Okay, so these are the important information that we need to know about this Global Economic Prospects Report. It is released by World Bank. One, it talks about global economic development and prospects related to economy. Two, and another important thing is it talks about the developing countries more than the developed countries, developing countries and the emerging economies. Okay, that is the another important thing which we need to know. Right, and it is released twice a year in January and June. Okay. Now let's begin with our discussion of today's questions. But before that, a small information, guys. We are uploading MCQs and their solutions in a PDF format in our Telegram channel. So do join our Telegram channel to make the best use of these MCQs. Okay. Now let's begin. The first question: which of the following initiative of Government of India are targeted to fight desertification? First one, Project Bold. Second one, प्रधानमंत्री कृषि सिंचाई योजना. Third one, प्रधानमंत्री फसल बीमा योजना. So you have to tell me the correct answer. A 1 only, B 2 and 3, C 3 only, and D 1, 2 and 3. So here the correct answer is D 1, 2 and 3. So if you see this bold initiative, it was launched recently and it was in news. So that's why we have asked this question. So this bold initiative, if you see, it was launched by the Khadi and Village Industry Commission on the name Bamboo Oasis on Land in Drought. This is what bold means. Okay, this was launched in the village Nischal Mandwa in Udaipur, Rajasthan. So here what they have done, they have planted about 5,000 saplings of special bamboo species which are generally found in Assam. They have brought them to Rajasthan, and over 16 acres they have planted this bamboo species, and it was done in an vacant land of the Gram Panchayat of village Nischal Mandwa. And the Khadi and Village Industry Commission, they have created a world record of planting largest number of saplings in a single day. So this is the first of the kind exercise in India. This was mainly done to ensure that the arid areas or the land where the crops are not grown also becomes green. It is launched as a part of KVIC's the Khadi Bamboo Festival to celebrate 75 years of Indian independence, Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav. Okay? Because why bamboo is actually planted is, bamboo is a plant which grows very fast, and in about 3 years of time this can be easily harvested. So that's why it's an advantageous crop, and also the bamboo is used for a lot of purposes, so there is a market value. It's a kind of commercial crop only, and because of this there are two advantages. One, the farmers get some benefit, and two, also the area can be cultivated, the area can become green. And if you see some other initiatives with regarding to fighting for desertification, the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, this is with regard to the crop insurance, the soil health card scheme, the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sanchai Yojana, this is the irrigation scheme, and the National Mission for Green India. So all these schemes also will act towards de-desertification. Okay, to fight desertification is what we can say. Okay? Now let's move on to the second question. The second question: he is known to have introduced the Hindu philosophies of yoga and Vedanta to the West. Social reform became a prominent element of his thought, and he joined the Brahmo Samaj. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose has referred to him as the maker of modern India. I think with this clue, most of you would have answered this question. So some of the books written by him are Raja Yoga and Jnana Yoga. So you have to identify the personality about whom we are talking. He's a famous personality, the maker of modern India. I think with this, most of you will be recognizing this answer. And the answer for this question is A, Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda. So recently we have celebrated, or you can say on 4th of July, we are celebrating the death anniversary. Not celebrating, we actually observed the death anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. So that's why this was in news. He was the chief disciple of Ramakrishna Paramhamsa. He represented India in the first parliament, which is this famous conference held in Chicago in 1893, and he was a spokesperson for Hinduism. And in 1893, he took the name Vivekananda after Maharaja Ajit Singh of Khetri state requested him to do so, changing from Sachidananda, which he used before. And Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose called him the maker of modern India. Okay, so he introduced various Indian philosophies like Vedanta and yoga to the Western world, and is credited with raising of interfaith awareness and bringing Hinduism to the world stage. Okay, so here are some more information about Vivekananda. You can just go through it once. Okay, you can just pause the video and go through it. And another important thing which you need to remember is he is the one who preached Neo Vedanta, which is an interpretation of the Hinduism through the Western lens. So that means you can say it's about mixing of the Hinduism with the West. Okay, so the influence of West on Hinduism is also, you can call it. It is called Neo Vedanta, and he advocated a man-making character building education. And the books written by him are Raj Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Karma Yoga. And also he worked in various ways for the spread of education among women and lower caste as well. Okay, and he's a great social reformer and an youth icon for whole of India, you can say. Now let's move on to the next question. Third question. Consider the following statements about fly ash. Fly ash consists substantial amount of silicon dioxide, aluminum oxide, and calcium oxide. First one. Second statement. For an equal amount of electricity generated, fly ash contains 100 times more radiation than nuclear waste secured via dry cask or water storage. Which of the following statements are correct? A 1 only, B 2 only, C both 1 and 2, and D neither 1 nor 2. So here the correct answer is C, both 1 and 2. Fly ash consists of substantial amount of silicon dioxide, aluminum oxide, and calcium oxide. So the first statement is right. The second statement, if you see, for an equal amount of electricity generated, the fly ash contains 100 times more radiation than nuclear waste. This is also right. Okay. So here some more information about fly ash is given. So why this was in news recently is, so NTPC has actually invited for expression of interest for the sale of residual product to the West Asian and other regions. So that means it has lot of fly ash with itself. So this fly ash has to be exported. So for this only expression of interest has been asked by NTPC. Okay. So fly ash, if you see, it is composed of, remember these three: silicon dioxide, aluminum dioxide, and calcium dioxide. Yes, C, silicon, aluminum, calcium. Okay. So this is the main composition, and also it consists of minor constituents like arsenic, beryllium, boron, cadmium, chromium, hexavalent chromium, etc. So it actually consists of various other compounds as well. Also, all the heavy metals found in fly ash like nickel, cadmium, arsenic, chromium, etc. are very toxic in nature. So the fly ash in itself is very harmful for the atmosphere around us. For an equal amount of electricity generated, fly ash consists 100 times more radiation than nuclear waste secured via dry cask or water storage. So this nuclear waste, actually the nuclear power plants, they can produce large amount of electricity even with small amount of nuclear you can say this compound, nuclear element like the uranium, etc. Okay, but this is not the same with the fly ash. The fly ash also can be used in various ways. The fly ash, actually, it is a output of when, or you can say it is produced when coal is used in a thermal power plant. Okay, this fly ash can be used in various ways. One is the concrete production, like mainly for substituting the cement and sand. Second one, the fly ash pellets, which can replace normal aggregate in the concrete mixture. The embankments and other structural fills, it can be used. Cement clinker production, stabilizing of soft soil because they are acidic in nature. Road subbase construction as an aggregate substitute material, and also it can be used for various agricultural activities like soil amendment, fertilizer, cattle feeders, the soil stabilization in stock feed yard, and agricultural stakes. So in all of these activities it can be used. Now let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements with respect to Nipun Bharat scheme. Nipun Bharat scheme. First one, it aims to enable every child to achieve the desired learning competencies in reading, writing, and numeracy by the end of grade 3 by 2026-27. This is the first statement. The second statement, it will be implemented by National Council for Vocational Education and Training, NCVET. So which of the following are correct? So here the correct answer is A, one only. The second statement is not right. So why it is not right, we will see now. So recently Ministry of Education has announced that it will launch the Nipun Bharat scheme, which aims to enable the environment to ensure universal acquisition of foundational literacy. So remember, Nipun Bharat scheme is for foundational literacy and numeracy. This will enable every child to achieve the desired learning competencies, because we are seeing learning outcomes is one of the major issues that India is facing today. This is observed through various reports as well as the surveys which are conducted every year. This ASR survey, which is conducted by NGO Pratham, also talks about this only, the learning deficiencies. So in order to remove this only, we are actually thinking to launch this scheme. Okay. So Nipun Bharat will be implemented by the Department of School Education and Literacy and not by the vocational, because if you see by logic also, vocational education is something which is different from the primary education. So this cannot be the answer. So that's why the second statement is wrong. Okay, so Department of School Education and Literacy will be implementing it, and a 5-tier implementation mechanism will be set up at the national, state, district, block level in the school in all states and UTs for the mission. No additional funding is being allocated for the mission. Instead, money is being allocated from the Samagra Shiksha scheme, which saw a 20% drop in its budget in 2021. Foundational literacy and numeracy is one of the goals under the National Educational Policy of 2020. Okay, so this is all the information that we need to know about this Nipun Bharat scheme. Okay, so the Nipun Bharat scheme is going to be launched by the Minister of Education and will be implemented by Department of School Education and Literacy. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. The fifth question. The seasonal reversal of winds is a typical characteristic of A, equatorial climate, B, Mediterranean climate, C, monsoon climate, and D, all the above climates. It's a previous year question. It came in CSC 2014. So if you see this reversal of winds, this is one of the major characteristic of monsoon climate. Monsoon climate, because if you see Indian monsoon, we have a typical type of monsoon which is known as retreat of monsoon. The retreat of monsoon, which is nothing but the monsoon winds going back to the sea. Normally we will be getting monsoon when the winds come from sea to land. Now the retreat of monsoon means the winds will be going back from land to sea. This is known as reversal of wind, and it is famous in the monsoon type of climate. So the word monsoon has been derived from the Arabic word mausim, or from the Malayali word mausin, meaning season. And monsoons are nothing but the seasonal winds. They are periodical winds which reverses with the change in season. Okay, so as I told already, the monsoon is a double system of seasonal winds. In summer they flow from sea to land, and in winter they flow back from land to sea. Okay, so this is the important thing about the monsoon, and I have given here some more information about the monsoon. You can just see that. So here one thing what we need to remember is the southwest monsoon is formed due to intense low pressure system over the Tibetan plateau, and there are various other reasons as well. And because of the tropical jet stream near the Madagascar, so all of these reasons are also there. But one important reason is the heating of Tibetan plateau, and because of that low pressure will be created near the Tibetan plateau, and the winds will flow towards that. And there is another type of monsoon what we have is the northeast monsoon, and this northeast monsoon is associated with the high pressure over the Tibetan and Siberian plateaus. Okay, so these are the two major monsoons, the southwest and the northeast, what India has. Now let's move on to the next question of the day. But before that, another small thing I forgot to mention. So this monsoon is actually experienced by countries like India, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Myanmar, etc. Only these countries will have, and also some countries in the South China Sea and near to the Japan as well. Okay, during the northeast rainfall. So this monsoon is a climatic pattern which we will be observing in the Asian subcontinent, you can say. Now let's look at the question of the day. The question of the day is, The Bagram Air Base, which was in news recently, is located in which country? Bagram Air Base. So do give your answer in the comment box. Tomorrow, before the start of discussion, I will be discussing this question. Okay. So that's it, friends. And before that, a small information regarding our initiatives. We have launched Vision PT 365 summary, Vision Prelims Test Series summary, the Mains Test Series summary, and Vision Monthly magazine. So do join our Telegram channel to get more details about these initiatives. You can check the quality of our courses also in the Telegram channel. If you have any query, do ask in the comment box. We will reply back. Okay. So that's it, friends. That's it for this lecture. I'll see you again tomorrow with 5 more questions. Till then, keep studying and stay tuned. Jai Hind.